Hey everybody, Chris here. We're going to see a bounce in Dogecoin's price coming ahead. We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when I do videos come out as well as when I do live streams. We had a good live stream on Tuesday watching David Sachs, the crypto czar, talking about stable coins. What is that? He followed up and just touched on Bitcoin strategic reserve, but even in the follow-up interviews that he had, again, it's staying on message. The government likes Bitcoin, and they're going towards stable coins to back the US dollar. But what about Doge, and where does Dogecoin stand in all of this? Let's get into it. Let's take a look at the news and the charts. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart. We're about 26.5 cents right now. As I said, we would be just going sideways after the live stream yesterday. Someone in the chat was just like, oh, you're just playing both sides. Could go up, could go down. I said, no. Here's what I think is going to happen. Volume is going to tick down, and we're going to go sideways. And that's pretty much what happened. So what we were looking at, though, was it looked like we have a double bounce here. It's a short-term time frame. But it looks like 25.6 cents is support. We're trying to figure out where is support after the big dump that we had on Sunday. Again, that came all the way down to 20.2 cents. And we were looking at higher lows. And it looks like we've got this double bounce now. And we've kind of gone a little sideways from there. Bitcoin is at 98,000. So Bitcoin kind of doing the same thing. Again, this drop Monday night was the follow-up China fear that we had on tariffs after Mexico and Canada have been delayed a month. But that's kind of the overall picture as we start. But what's this channel and what is all of this about that we're talking about? Well, we zoom out and we look at the 4-hour chart. And let me zoom out even more. And we've got this downward channel that we've identified here for Doge overall. And again, this is going back from mid-November to December. We had a double top up here, and there's another chart coming up that will show you what we were looking at back in December when we had that double top. Now, the short time frame, we've got this double bottom, and we had this big tail dip on December 20th, and then the tariff war has sparked this dip even further. But what happens when you have a downward channel in a bull market? Are we looking breakout coming ahead? Well, let's take a look again. Here's Bitcoin, right? We've had these before. This has happened. FTX collapse, banking crisis, Japanese. Remember the Japanese? The carry trade and the yen and all of that. And what has happened each time? Bitcoin has always recovered, as well as the rest of the crypto market. And even last cycle, we had the same thing. We had Tesla dumping because they had not allowed payment for cars for Bitcoin. At the same time, we had the Chinese banning all Bitcoin mining at the same time. And that was in May of 2021. And we had the COVID crash before then. And Bitcoin has always recovered. So tariffs now, with the tariffs, we had a big drop. But look at what has happened with leverage each time, though. I mean, they're estimating, it wasn't only $2 billion, but maybe $7 to $8 billion of leverage that just got wiped out over the weekend. $7 to $8 billion. So you can see how the leverage trading has increased over time and how it's like at its max right now. Again, bull market, the traders, they want to make as much money as possible, and they just get wiped out. So Bitcoin will recover from this. And we see, repeating again, what has happened before. Bull flag takes off, bull flag takes off, and there's always a little bit of chop right in the middle. And we're in that chop now for Bitcoin. Yes, overall, you zoom out and you might see the slight downward channel for Bitcoin. It's even bigger in Doge because, as we've said, always whenever there is a retrace in the market, Doge always falls harder than Bitcoin. But when things turn around and things are going up, Doge will outperform Bitcoin. That's what we see. So another bullish pennant forming for Bitcoin that Trader Allen looks like, And this points to about $155,000 Bitcoin would come up if we are able to break out of that bull pennant to the upside. For Doge, we're looking at from August, we had the long wick down, recover up. Here's the long wick down we just had, and recovery up. We go sideways for a while, come into an upward channel and break up to the upside. That's in the card now. Could this candle trigger another bull run like we had in late 2024? After the wick, some sideways, and then we explode upward. Could that happen again for Doge? Looking at Doge versus total, so this is Dogecoin against all other cryptos and how Doge has performed. And we see from back in 2021, after that first initial run up and a retrace, again, Doge versus all other cryptos, Doge then went on a crazy run up. That seems to be the same position we're in now. That's Dogecoin against other cryptos. So if we're going to not see a true alt season, we could still see Dogecoin go on a big run itself. That's how Doge trades. It has its own catalyst that can send it flying despite what's happening in the rest of the market. So we look at Titan of Crypto. We look at ETH. What is ETH going to do? Is ETH going to have a run up similar to what happened 2020 into 2021? Right now, a lot of people are saying that ETH may not make it. ETH actually may not make it. So the alt season still could happen even without ETH making a big run. Of course, Eric Trump, World Liberty, they're buying a lot of ETH here because they think this big run is going to happen with ETH. But there are many others that are saying that because of Solana and Sui and other blockchains that are taking over a lot of the market share from ETH, we may not see that for ETH, and we could just go right into alt season. Or does alt season even happen? That's still a question. Right now, as far as Bitcoin, retail investors don't seem eager to buy Bitcoin as the number of addresses holding between 0 and 1 Bitcoin continues to decline. That's right. On-chain data from Sentiment is basically saying the smaller holders of Bitcoin have been declining. This goes back from November. So some may be taking profits, and not as many new wallets are being created holding small bits of Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to be becoming more institutional. We do see that coming and that happening for Bitcoin. But as Bitcoin's valuation grows, so does its inertia, requiring ever larger inflows to sustain market cap. And so we've talked about, as crypto grows and they get bigger and bigger and bigger, the volatility comes down. And because of the market cap, in order to get big runs coming up, you need a lot of fresh capital. You need a lot of more big money coming in to move prices higher. Now we see that building for Bitcoin. Dogecoin doesn't have this problem yet. I mean, it's compared to where Doge was in 2021 when it went on its big run, it does have a bigger market cap. But retail can still make Dogecoin move. And we saw that in November of 2024. And that can happen again. Again, I still think it needs its own catalyst to make that happen. Titan of Crypto says, how about alt season? Is alt season around the corner? With consensus leaning towards no alt season this cycle, history suggests this might be the perfect setup for one to unfold. We don't know what's going to happen with alt season. Doge can still do its own thing despite ETH and other alts going on runs. We will be watching this going forward. But for Doge, look, we now have Neptune Digital Assets in Canada has bought Dogecoin for its digital reserve, right? Digital asset reserve. They're buying some Dogecoin. So they bought 1 million Dogecoin. They've already got some Bitcoin, and they're like, they wanted exposure to Dogecoin in their company's reserve. So that's cool for Doge, right? Get a little in your Doge stash, because you never know what is going to happen. So can Dogecoin break out? Well, right now, again, this is the chart that we showed back in December. We had a double top, and we started to retrace from there. We noticed upward support was happening, but there was always this chance that we could see a breakdown happen. And that target point was, at that time, 30 cents, because 30 cents is one of those stop points that we had on the way up. And so this was out there, and what have we seen? Of course, that did play out. We did see the drop happen, and support was broken as Doge actually dropped down here to 26.5 cents. And that was that dip that we had. Dogecoin recovered, came up. That's where we got this downward channel line. And so, again, came back down and retested that support line. Again, it's a downward channel. So from the downward channel, can we break to the upside now? And so, Dogecoin's price prediction channel down formation shows why a bounce above 30 cents now is expected. So here is another view, channel down. And what we typically see, particularly with the RSI down in this oversold position, that the momentum will swing back up, still in an overall bull market. We see what's happening with Bitcoin setup. Alts, still not quite sure, but Doge can always go on a run itself. So we see that now. There are some saying this MACD crossover is happening on a smaller time frame, but on the daily, it's not quite crossed over yet on the MACD, so I think we still need to see that grow out for a little bit, which is why I think we're still going to be trading sideways, maybe up, a little bit to get that MACD turning back around. And lastly, we've got Billy Marcus, again, responds every now and then on what's going on and just says, look, learn how any market works. It's not magic. It's just watching the market trends, reaction to news. Again, as I say, you can do all the technical analysis in the world, right, with your fib lines and all of that. The news will always come out as being more of an impact than any technical analysis. And of course, we also look at the leverage trading as well. We look at the heat maps during our live streams to see where, both on the short side and the long side, we've got those big trades at, which are targets for the exchanges and market makers to move the price, to take out the lows, take out the highs, however that's going to work next. We keep an eye on that. That's what moves the market. Technical analysis is looking back at how things have already happened, where we look at the news and we look at the leverage to see more what could happen in the future. So it's not surprising that Billy Marcus, despite being a key figure in Dogecoin's creation, he's distanced himself from the Doge project. He often reminds people he has no control over the coin's price. He's got nothing to do with it. But he still chimes in every now and then because, he did create Dogecoin. Meanwhile, Doge shows some resilience after hitting an intraday low, just over 20 cents on Sunday. It's bounced back 26%. A small recovery, not enough to erase concerns about the overall market trend. For now, Doge has stabilized. The broader sentiment, still a little shaky, but if history is any indication, Dogecoin thrives on unpredictability. In the end, it seems that Elon Musk, Billy Marcus, are content to let the market do its thing. No explanations needed. Whether or not Dogecoin's future remains bright, still up in the air. It's a little word of caution, but we are still in an overall bull market. I think we are still going higher. We're going to break out of this downward channel and we're going to go move up. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about all of this trading and looking ahead? Join in on the live streams. Next one will be this afternoon. Please check in on that. Make sure you're subscribed, notified. Give the video a like, all of that. And we'll see you next time.